let's have a look at installing extensions. In the extension menu, there's this point where we can manage our extensions and where we can install extensions. Traditionally, there were 3 different ways of installing extensions. The first one is uploading a package file. To do that, you basically download the package file, the zipped up file, from whoever programmed the extension. You download it to your own computer and you upload it here. If your zip file is in the right format, this is fairly straightforward. But some people who program extensions, they create this package file and the zip file, and they then zip this up together with a manual, for example in PDF format. So the zip file you download might not be the actual package file. So it doesn't always work straight away if you download something and you upload it here. Sometimes there are additional steps necessary, like you unzipping it on your own machine and then taking the zip file out of your downloaded zip file and uploading that. We can also install from a folder. That's probably the this is probably the least comfortable solution. You would use it if you had downloaded this extension and you uploaded it with FTP onto your web server. You then specify the folder where you uploaded it to on your server, and you then install from that folder. So this is the least comfortable option, and you can install from a URL. So when you go somewhere to download an extension, instead of downloading it, you right click, you copy the link location, and then you just paste the link location here. You click on install, and your installation will go to that URL, will fetch the file, will basically download it onto the server, unzip it, and install it all for you. This is the most comfortable option in the past. But now there's an even better option. There's this Joomla extensions directory. I'll just open this in a new tab, which is the best place to download extensions. You can look at all the extensions you want. Unfortunately, no templates. As far as I remember, there used to be templates in a Joomla directory, unless I remember wrong, but that's not there anymore. But any other types of extensions you can download here, and there's now install from web available on the official Joomla extension directory. To use that, we need to add this install from web tab. That should be a one-off process, so I'm just gonna do that. So the system installed a plugin now, and thanks to the plugin, I've got the install from web tab now. And funnily enough, what I would have said next to install would have been please install Akeeba, and maybe because this is something so many people install, this is here that the file I wanted you to install anyway. Akeeba is a backup solution, and it will help you to back up your Joomla installation. Not only do you have the Joomla installation that's living on your web server in the form of files, but your Joomla installation also created tables in your database. So if you want to have a snapshot of the current state of your Joomla installation, you need the current state of all your files and the current state of all your tables in your database. And Akeeba will do that for you. So one of the first extensions to install, I think, should be Akeeba. That helps you go through the process of installing an extension once, and you can then start making backups. Every time you do something, you can make a backup first, which means if you have to, you can go back to that version you backed up. Restoring a backup is not an easy task. It's quite complicated. It's not just like you pressing a button, but at least you have the option of going back if you want to. Okay, let's install Akeeba Backup. I click on it. It should have automatically picked the correct version, and here's an install button. So let's just install this extension. Please confirm by selecting the install button. Install. Okay, that was fairly quick. Installation of the component was successful. And because it's a component, the most complex type of extension, it should have created its own menu here in the components menu. And here it is, Akeeba Backup. I go there. And Akeeba never run on this server, and different servers are configured in different ways. So first, Akeeba needs to figure out how your server is configured. When we looked at PHP, we said that programs can run for a certain amount of time. If you make a programming mistake, you might have programmed a loop that will never end. And you don't want that code to run on the server forever. You don't want to start that script and there's a mistake, and you don't want this code to run 5-10 years later. So what happens is every time you start a PHP script, the server will time it, and there's a timeout period that you can set. Could be 60 seconds, could be 120 seconds. So you can set that value. Different servers will have different values, and this is the maximum time a PHP script can run. Why is that important? It's important because you running the backup task might involve you getting lots and lots of files out of the database, and that could take a really long time. If you've got a database with hundreds and hundreds of megabytes, it would take a while. It would take longer than 60 seconds or whatever your timeout period might be. Another thing is the best thing is if Akeeba zips up your files, but depending on your server settings, there will be a maximum file size for files that can write to the server. So that could be 10 megabyte, or it could be something bigger or smaller. Again, we don't really know. So if we let Akeeba Backup configure itself, it will try to test your system, try to see how long can I run code, what kind of file size can I write. So let's try that. And it will try to run different tasks, try to see how long can I run code before it gets kicked out. So let's just have a look. Yeah, so let's think of an example with a database. If you've got a really big database, it wouldn't be possible to download the whole table in one go. So it would have to split the task into smaller tasks, and this helped it to configure the whole thing. So now the system knows what my server is capable of. I can now easily create backups. I just click on backup now. Yeah, my first backup now. And it shouldn't take too long because all I've got is the plain Joomla installation with the sample data. So I think your first task should be to install Akeeba. Install it whichever way you want, but installing it from the web is probably most comfortable. And then create a backup. And you can then use this. Let's have a look at our backups. Oh, there's a video tutorial. Yeah, last time I had a student having to restore a backup. It was not very easy. I don't know whether it got any easier. But at least you can restore your backups. And if you've got many backups, you can see a list of all your backups here. That's quite important because sometimes you want to try things out, maybe even the day before the deadline, and you install some dodgy extension or more likely a strange template, and that might mess up your installation completely. If you've got a backup, at least you can go back to the last version. If you don't have a backup, you got to start from scratch and you got to do it all again, and you might have lost, many days or many weeks worth of work.